So I've written two books that are a series for people who don't want coaching. It's not for them. Whether it's out of their monthly budget or it's just something they think they can handle life themselves, that's good. I've been there till I was 50 almost. So this book I wrote is part of a do-it-yourself coaching series. And it's Wake Up to the BS You Tell Yourself. It's actually from the BS you tell yourself. No BS coaching, right? And you got to wake up to the stories you tell yourself. And from there, it's important to learn how to train your mind. How to Train Your Mind, written by a dragon. Program Your Mind for Success. Programming Your Mind, written by a dragon. I was born in the year of the dragon in Chinese astrology. So programming your mind is key after you wake up from the BS stories you tell yourself, because that's how the brain works. The brain gathers evidence to prove whatever you put into the file system, as Dr. James Doty talks about in his book, Mind Magic. He talks about whatever we put in the file system, there's a bloodhound that goes out looking to prove that that's true, despite any evidence to the contrary. It's like we took this shirt, gave it to a bloodhound, and said, go find Steve. That's what the bloodhound would do. It would rule out any scent that's different from my shirt. Your brain is doing the same thing. I call it the acorn brain. It's that insidious little voice that I have. And when I ask people, when I speak, how many people have that insidious little voice speaking to them, sometimes 24 hours a day, thankfully, most people raise their hand along with me. And so I've been doing this work for over 25 years. And first, too, it begins with a spiritual understanding. It doesn't matter what faith you have. It's important to have a faith in something bigger than yourself, a higher power, something much, much, much larger, infinitely larger than this little voice in our brain. Now, I located the acorn where the amygdala is. And brain surgeons and neural researchers like to say that amygdala is the shape of a walnut. I use the acorn because you can more easily picture an oak tree growing out of the acorn. I know I could probably put a picture of a walnut tree and a walnut. I just think the acorn is easier to break open and sprout into something larger. I call it infinite thinking. We want to come to model infinite thinking, infinite possibility thinking, and that's the first place to train your mind. After you catch the BS story that you're telling yourself. And the typical stories are, well, it's this company, it's my boss, it's my spouse, it's my parents. We all have a story of something that occurred to us. I want you to consider that life is happening for you, that it's actually there to wake you up. It's a gift. It's there as a gift to wake you up to a new path. And coaching is a commitment. And I don't care if you want to do it yourself. I have plenty of coaching clients, and I'm grateful. Not all of them are a fit for me. Future ones, not all of you would be a fit, but I can tell you that this book is 80 pages. Self-help books don't have to be hundreds of pages. There's the acorn brain. By the way, these are 80 pages with lots of images. That's an image of myself at one time. Your problem is obvious, but I have lots of images almost on every page. And so you're going to get through this book in no time. And if you follow what it suggests, you'll wake up to the stories you tell yourself that are self-limiting. Now, I don't want you to believe me, because I also wrote the books You Might Be Full of Shit If, or You Might Be Full of Number Two. After all, we know better. I wrote both of them a few years ago. When I wrote the second one, You Might Be Full of Number Two, after Amazon wouldn't advertise it. They published it, but they wouldn't let me advertise that book because it had profanity, the one that said you might be full of shit if. So waking up to the idea that you know it all, that's what you want to wake up from. and that people and events that bother you are actually a gift, and that life is happening for you. Now, reprogramming your mind, how to train your mind. Again, it's 80 pages with lots of pictures, and if you follow the exercises, you'll prove to yourself that you can create a life that you only imagine right now. And by the way, if you're daydreaming about it and imagining it, I want you to stay in that mode, picturing it, but then don't listen to that little acorn brain that says, who, you? Not you. You could never write a book. I've listened to that brain years ago, and now I have 12 books. I have a 12th coming out this year called In Plain Sight. Learn to see what most people miss and embrace life as it is. A friend, life is happening for you. If you've got a story, a BS story, here's how you know you have one. You're telling everyone else about it. People who can do nothing about it. All you're doing is sharing what's holding you back. Who's holding you back? You want to hear what happened to me today? Go to any neighborhood bar. You'll find lots of people who are sharing what happened to them after their 4th or 5th shot or drink. Okay, I get it. I understand it. I have empathy for those people. To break that takes a force of will. And if you let that little mind run you, you're not going to have the life that you've imagined because it wants you to run it. Rainer Maria Rilke in the 1800s called that voice the little hooligan. George Ivanovich Gurdjieff in the early 1900s called it the machine. And they would ask that question. Do you want the hooligan or the machine to run you, or will you run it? That's what waking up from your BS stories is going to do for you. It'll put you on a whole new path. I used to own the license for a national sales training program 25 years ago. It was longer, 1998. And for 5 years, I believed I could never do my own work. Well, for the first couple, I was excited about having this national license, but I realized it was never going to be my own when I asked about writing a book. It wasn't going to happen. So today, I have my own work. And in 2003, I let that license go and developed my own work. I honored the non-compete for 2 years and started a class based on my first book called Wake Up, Jump Into Your Life. It's based on the idea of lucid dreaming. You can jump into your dreams, and it's a way to break a nightmare. And you can jump into your life if your life feels like a nightmare. It takes a force of will. It's a commitment. The commitment in my How to Train Your Mind book is going to the neuro gym daily. And neuro researchers have proven that for people that are mostly stuck, negative thinkers, that as they go to a program that helps them reprogram their mind, as Joe Dispenza calls it, remind yourselves, you can do it. And what happens is your brain has plasticity, neuroplasticity. It opens up new neural pathways that are mostly positive. fMRIs have proven this, that mostly negative thinkers, their brain lights up with negative thoughts on a certain part of the neocortex. Maybe it's the left side. I don't know. It might be the right side, but just stay with me. When you start doing positive work, going to the neuro gym, reprogramming your mind to default to more often to positive thinking, new neural pathways are opened on the opposite side of where the negative light up. So you can reprogram your mind and you'll find yourself defaulting more often to better decisions, healthier decisions. And you'll be spending more time in the now, here, which is all there is, right now. The past is this little brain reminding you of every humiliation, every time you defended, every mistake you made, every error in judgment. And what you have to tell that brain is, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, and laugh at yourself. We're here to fall and get up and grow. Fall, learn, get up and grow. Fall, learn, get up and grow. Now, if you keep repeating over and over again, the same path, but you're expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity, as Einstein said. Keep doing what you're doing, expecting a different result is insanity. So look at the places you've fallen, and mostly what I have found with my clients, by the way, some I've had for 10, 12, 15, 20, and even 25 years, what I found is as they rewire their brain and do things differently than they had in the past, they create an amazing new future. They created what they wanted, and they're amazing themselves. You can do the same thing. I call it my do-it-yourself coaching program. Go to Amazon and Google Steve Lentini or Google No BS Coaching, wake up from the BS you tell yourself, and then Google How to Train Your Mind, written by a Dragon by Steve Lentini. You can buy the books and do your own coaching. Do it yourself. If you decide you want to have a coach, then you can email me, and I'll show you again how to email me. Very simple, steve@stevelentini.com. steve@stevelentini.com. You can email me and I'll email you a questionnaire, and together we'll schedule a free coaching. If you've watched this video this long, there'll be a free coaching as my gift. And if you don't want to use it, you could gift it to someone else. You'd have to email me and say, hey, I'm not going to use the coaching, Steve, but I saw your video or I bought your books because the gift is in the books, and I want to give it to Mary Jane. Whatever name you give me, they'll have a free coaching. And it's not a 15-minute coaching. It's a 2-hour coaching. It's my gift. I want more people to win and succeed. When I talk to leaders, sometimes I have to say to leaders, it sounds like you're whipping the ox around here. Wouldn't you rather push the cart? That's what I'm doing, helping more people win and succeed that live in a universe. You live in a universe. You live in a miracle. There's something to that. And most people are stuck believing the BS they tell themselves, that you can't do this, you can't do that, you'll never write a book, nobody will listen to you, you can't have your own business. That's a BS story. Or if you're telling yourself that your parents are holding you back or held you back, or the company or the boss or your coworkers, I don't care what story it is. If you're not telling it to the people who can do something about it, it's a BS story. You just love telling the story that I call a tale of woe. Woe is me. You're a victim of circumstance, not a master of circumstances. The good news is both are required so that you can recognize the master of circumstance, yourself, that you can take control. Life is happening for you. It's a gift. But don't take my word for it. Prove it to yourself. Then you own it. Again, question, steve@stevelentini.com. I'll show you the books again. steve@stevelentini.com. Here's the No BS Coaching book, and here's the How to Train Your Mind, written by a Dragon book. I'm glad to help. And I can tell you, it's amazing what's possible when you change your mind. And I thank you for watching. I'm grateful.